We're talking about podcast. We're talking about April Shower podcast. A It's an April Shower podcast.
Ooh, that was an awful. I was trying to make April shower noises, but it was just like creepy attic rodent. Like,
Ooh.
That's not
Yeah,
rain.
yeah. That's like a scurry. That's less a shower and more of a scurry.
It is a bit of a scurry.
You know what they say? April infestations in your attic bring May visits from the exterminator.
That's right, baby.
Mm-hmm.
That's I think in the
That's
Farmer's
right,
Almanac.
baby.
I think Ben Franklin said that.
I do also think that same thing. It's a rainy end to April
Yes.
that we find ourselves experiencing. And today we celebrate the rains.
It's
we bless
rain day
the
on the pod.
rains.
Wow, we do. We bless the rains
We bless
up
the
at
rains.
DFW.
I don't think I've said the L in W in 2 decades.
You just hit it with the W.
I think so.
It's almost a G dubs. A W.
I don't say W, but I think I do say like W. You know what I mean? DFW. Yeah.
Mhm.
I don't think I've pronounced the
DFW.
L.
DFW.
W?
Also, I mean, a capital W is clearly a double V.
It
Depends on what your
Yeah.
it depends on your preference of font.
Yeah, but like most of the time, though, you know.
I guess Jordan, you and I, we're well versed in the capital W, aren't we?
Yeah,
It's
we
fun
spend
to
a
share
lot of
that.
time. Spend a lot of time with the capital W.
Yeah, a lot of time.
See, now
it's
I'm-
such
now
a
I'm saying
strong
that.
letter. It's a strong one, isn't it?
It is. It's strong. It's got a lot of. power. You
Broad
can't spell
and
power
sharp.
without W.
Without W. Dang right, dude. The other day I found out I noticed for the first time in my life that the word character has my name, like in the right order and everything. And I was like, huh, that'll sell a book someday.
It doesn't.
I'm in book sale. Huh?
What? Yeah, it does.
Character has the word Carter inside it.
Yeah.
Yes, dude.
Get rid of an H. Get rid of the second A and the C.
Oh. If
thought
you
it was
delete
just-
some of the letters, if you skip all
Is
the
it
ones
not
that aren't
inside
Carter,
it?
it makes Carter.
Is it not inside it? Is
I
there
thought you meant it was like in
There's
order.
also a salad in a burger. When you take out the beef and the buns, there's a salad in there.
That's a good point.
Not your strongest argument, but I'll give it to you.
I thought it was great.
But might not be my strongest, but definitely top half of the whole podcast.
well,
Our
okay,
arguments
let's
tend to
relax
be
a little bit.
Yeah, it's just like 50 minutes of us fighting. Best episode, highest viewed episode ever.
It just slow radio fades at the end of the episode. You don't know how long it goes on for.
Like a
Oh,
good
also-
90s song.
I'm Jordan. I guess we should start there.
Yeah.
Knock, knock. I'm
Who's there?
Doge. Knock, knock.
Who's there?
I'm Doge.
You were
Who's
so
there?
excited
Who's
you
there?
forgot.
So
Who's there?
this one's Doge. And then I say, knock, knock.
Who's there?
Who's there?
Yeah.
Yahoo!
Yahoo.
Yahoo! I'm excited too.
It was fun.
I'm Carter, and you only live once, but you get to serve twice. Author unknown. It's a tennis quote.
I thought it was about being president.
Could be. Certainly could be.
I was genuinely like serve a look. Maybe they're saying like at the
You've
end
watched
the
a lot of
day.
Drag Race, man.
Yeah, I've been watching a lot of Drag Race.
That's what RuPaul do to you.
That's what DuPaul
Hey, I've been
root to
thinking
you.
about this, and I just thought I should share. When Old English was written, it used a mixture of Latin letters and older runes. And one of those runes was win, which was used to represent the sound that W gives today. That runes was sometimes replaced by the combination of two U's, a W for the same sound. And in German, the letter V changed the sound to be pronounced as F in most cases. In a few cases, the V sound was retained. To distinguish those cases, scribes began to write two V's for these. So that's just a taste of why it's called W and not double V.
Dang.
It is so crazy how good you are at weaponizing boring things.
Dang.
My goal is to make you guys want to turn the podcast
You
off.
are
And it's
so
your podcast.
your superpower is sometimes you can just go down this rabbit hole that just like I fully disassociate.
What are our social superpowers? We've talked about
question.
Jordan's. We've talked about Jordan's before, and I think it's the thing that he's gonna like Make you love what he loves. What is it?
Or
By
die trying.
force, by sheer
Yes.
force.
There is a. You're already excited before you get the info because of the preamble, like the preface. Like all of the energy changes. He gets a little bit taller. His hands get higher. And then it's just like something.
My hair actually grows when I do this.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, depending on how excitable I am, I have to get haircuts more frequently.
Yeah, I love that.
I think, Carter, your social superpower would be that I am confident that no matter what I say to you, you will at least try to understand it. You will at least go,
that's excellent.
Yeah, I guess I can see that. If I was just like, Carter, I think that your dog Nana can talk and just refuses to. I think you would be like,
I'll give it a shot.
I'll see if I think that. Maybe I do think that.
This would be, Chelsea and I are always talking about, because it's Survivor season in our house. And really, if you play your cards right, it's almost always Survivor season on TV.
True.
But that would be my number one downfall if I played Survivor, is I can believe everyone. I could believe everyone, and it would turn into absolute anxiety because it's like they're out to get me. Like, if you ever watch when a contestant's like, they burn an immunity idol and they're like, dude, you were safe. That would be me.
It would just be you and Q against the world.
Yes.
This season. You'd be like, he's the smartest guy I've ever met. I think he's so convincing.
Yes. I think that's why I love Clue so much, the movie, that because it gives us almost all the scenarios. I'm like, same, dude, same.
Everybody's right.
That's exactly what I thought. But also I thought, oh yes, thank you, Tim. That's same. Jordan, in terms of like RuPaul kind of integrating into our lives, the other day in the office, someone had said something that I thought was like kind of a slay like moment. And I reacted by just naturally like clapping with 2 fingers and just be like, yes. And they were like, dude, what is that?
That's very
yes.
good. Very good. Does your superpower is human Google? That's obvious.
Hoogle.
Yeah.
Hoogle.
That's obvious.
Yeah, that's fine.
What that Hoogle do?
Show me what that Hoogle do.
What's that Hoogle up to these days? I did have a tennis quote because I saw a really interesting meme just a couple days ago. So with
describe it.
Let me talk to you about it. We're going to play jjolf today, and it's going to be tennis movies. As you all both know, I was for challengers. I'm like excited about it. I think maybe some opinions have changed a little bit. I don't know if it's going to get you guys to watch it ever. Definitely not in theaters. Go ahead.
No, it won't. I won't.
Oh, okay.
I won't. No.
But it was funny to see, there was a meme that was like, hey, if you're in a Spider-Man movie, you will also be in a tennis movie. So like Kirsten Dunst was in Wimbledon. Emma Stone was in Battle of the Sexes. Zendaya now in Challengers. And so I wanted to play jjolf with our tennis movies. And it's been a bit since we've played jjolf. I don't even know if we've played it in the year of our Lord 2024. It's spelled jjjolf. That's because for those of you that don't know, if you're not into the deep lore, really all of our first names start with a J, even though one of us goes by said name. It's Jordan, Justin, and John, which is just
sounds
boring as
horrible,
hell.
dude.
That sucks.
Isn't that weird?
When you say John, I do not like it.
Big bad John. Like that's me. That is
bad.
me. John, right here.
John.
If you've seen a John, I'm John. So we're going to play jjolf. And jjolf gives you an allotted amount of strokes. So it's not really like golf, but that's the best thing about it. Because you get 22 strokes. And in this case, it's percentage points for Flickster. So what we do is hopefully you have not seen the scores that these movies have on Flickster. And jjolf gets interesting, especially when you start to pull older movies. Because as we've realized for a long time, as much as the algorithm for IMDb is very strange in saying what actors and actresses are known for, Flickster and critic reviews are really bizarre because there's some movies that age very well and actually become like cult classics and stuff, but you'd go back and look to see that maybe it had a 20% on Flickster, and maybe it starts to change your opinion on other people's opinions. But with jjolf today, we're going to go back and forth, and these guys will have to mute so that they don't say, they don't know what each of their opponent or each other said in terms of how close they are. So if I were to say Jurassic Park, and Doge was to say 90%, and Jordan was to say 95%, and it was actually a 91%, then Doge only lose 1 stroke. He's down to 21. Jordan would lose 4 and is down to 18. Make sense? So you're trying to get as many right within the allotted amount of 22 strokes.
I've ever seen a single tennis movie. So these are all just going to be shoot from the hip. Basically,
that's great. I don't
guess based
it might
on
not
the trailers
long.
I've seen.
What's your vibe? What is your vibe for this tennis movie?
We do start with Wimbledon. We have Kirsten Dunst and Paul Bettany. We're in here. Sam Neill, John Favreau.
Is Wimbledon the son of Templeton the Rat?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, yeah.
That's him.
It's a big web. It's a big web in
That's
the middle
the one.
for the
And
net.
y'all, as always,
The tennis one is Wimbledon.
because
Yeah.
the tit. Y'all have, do you want audience score or critic score here?
I think audience.
Ooh, we usually do the critic course. Let's
I
do the
know, but
audience.
I'm over critics.
Let's do audience.
I'm over
It's going to be
critics.
97% for all of these.
That's
People say,
audience score.
I love tennis.
I love tennis.
Hey, Carter.
Yeah.
I think it's important for you to know what time, like before we get in the game, do you know what time did Sean Connery arrive at Wimbledon?
What time?
10ish.
I love that so much. I was going to take every stab I had was so bad because it was going to be like a clock, but I wanted to get
My
as
first
many
thought was
S's in there.
2:30.
2:30.
Hey, same joke.
Yep.
By a different name, still is sweet.
The 7:27. It wasn't going to happen.
Love.
Weird. Tennis. I think of my Charlemagne. What do you? Who wants to go first? Who wants to take the first volley, as they would say, maybe in tennis? I only know pickleball. I'm guessing because pickleball came first, I think, and then tennis. So I'm guessing there's a lot.
Like, what if it was bigger?
A lot of similarity. They're like, man, dude, what if we fill these holes?
I think it's cool. It shows how influential video games are in the real world that they made a real game out of Wii tennis.
Yes,
That's
Big
crazy.
I think that's sick.
I'm also mostly out on Wii Sports because I think, and here we go, classic narcissist Carter here. I think I'm enough of an athlete that Wii Sports feels like it's not the actual mechanics of sport, and it really frustrates me.
I would pile
Wii-
drive you into the dirt on Wii tennis, and it's
Destroy
not even
me.
a question.
Don't like it, and maybe
I got
that's
to where
what
I
it is.
could. I got to where I could lay on my couch and hit a hole in one in Wii Sports. So I actually do think it's probably pretty accurate to how good I am at golf.
Yeah,
I pulled a perfect game on Wii bowling once.
Dang, really? 3 hondo?
I think so.
Oh, you rolled a Zack Snyder in Wii bowling?
I also did the thing on the one with 100 pins where you hit the button and they explode.
Much like bowling. Who wants to take a shot at this first?
I do.
I'll do it.
stabbing?
Oh,
Who's stabbing
okay, go
at
for it.
Wimbledon?
I will.
Go
Do it
for
then.
I've never seen it. I know nothing about it. 84%.
My turn.
I've never even seen a trailer or a poster for this movie.
Is this the part of the match that's called a deuce?
This is the one. Well, that was pre-match.
Okay.
You
For
got to
all of
take
us.
a pre-Wimbledon deuce.
I'll take my deuce and say audience. I think that 86% of people loved this movie.
And that's game.
The game's over. Jordan already won. Because Jordan ended up at the end here at -5 points to -7 points. And again, under is usually good in golf, but not in jjolf. The audience score for Wimbledon was 57%.
Whoa.
They actually were not.
Why do you go
Big
see it if you
fans.
don't like tennis?
They're not big fans there. Battle of the Sexes. Let's see what that.
Maybe we
got.
just count that as a warm-up round.
Yeah.
Sure.
That was my warm-up deuce.
We can do the other 2 tennis movies for the next.
Yeah. Isn't that what it was called? Am I wrong?
The Emma Stone, Steve Carell.
Emma Stone?
Yeah,
I thought so.
it is called that. Well, Flixer, why you not tell me? Oh, there it is. Audience score again. Doge, you go first this time on Battle of the Sexes. We're just now
audience
beginning.
score-
Jolf.
Audience score is so hard for me to think of.
Or do you want to do critic score?
No, we'll stick with audience.
All right.
Mostly because I think Jordan's muted and he can't weigh in. For Battle of the Sexes, audience score is 62%.
77%.
The audience score, 71%. Jordan said 77, so that's 6 strokes. He's down to 16. Doge said 62. That's 9 strokes. He is down to 13.
Now it's a game.
Now, friends,
now it's anybody's deuce.
it's a game. Finally, very likely, we are to challengers. Zendaya flick that just released last weekend. There is no audience score yet because it just came out. There is, however, a critic score. You'll have to jump on over.
Is
the
there no
critic side.
audience score because nobody wants to see it?
Nope. Nope. It's just early. It's when we record, the day the movie releases. So the critics have gotten in there. There's already a consensus, all that good stuff.
93%.
84% of critics give this a favorable rating.
Critic score currently at certified fresh, 91%.
Ooh.
Jordan said 93, so he's down to 14 strokes left. Doge remains alive and is down to 6. So now what do we do? Well, I'll tell you. We search on Flixster. We search tennis and just see what happens.
There's that one with Jon Snow and Andy Samberg from HBO.
Yeah.
But that might have been a miniseries.
2005, February 10th of 2005, an hour and 40 minutes, there was a movie called Tennis Anyone?
Sure, why not?
Jason Isaacs, Kirk Fox of,
They got Kirk?
oh my gosh.
Fantastic Mister?
No, Kirk Fox
Parks
of
and Recreation.
Parks
Jury
and
Duty.
Recreation and Jury Duty, yes. Stephen Dorff, Paul Rudd, Danny Trejo. Huh? What's happening? What is
I
this?
didn't know you could play tennis with a machete.
With a machete. Thank you for the emphasis on the pronunciation there. Audience score. Doge?
For audience score for Tennis Anyone.
Tennis anyone? A Hollywood actor and his best friend compete in celebrity tennis tournaments. Oh, perhaps it's a documentary. Tennis anyone?
Tennis Anyone? 52%.
69?
Oh, can I change my answer to 420%?
Is that your guess, Jordan?
80,085. Yeah, that's my guess.
Actual retail price, 42% on Rotten Tomatoes. Jordan takes a big drop. And after the game became a completely different game, loses the game. And Doge wins.
I always
He went
knew I had it in me.
Just 4 over, guessed 52%. Tennis anyone. That was Jolf. A little bit of Jolf, a little bit of tennis. We're definitely in our North Dallas era right now. We're just rich and white today on the podcast. Just tennis and golf.
That's how I always am.
This is how we go. This is how we do. Now we'll go shop at Central Market and get our groceries.
I did go to Sprouts yesterday. They built a new Sprouts shop at my house. I did go there.
Challengers, I am willing to hear people out. I've heard a lot of good buzz around it. That being said, it will not be a theater movie for me. I will definitely wait to stream
Makes
it.
sense.
And I still stand by what if tennis was sexy is like a crazy premise for a film. I stand by that.
What if we made a biopic about fake people? That's what it feels
Well,
like.
that's just a movie. Like that. You're just describing a movie.
But this feels so something about it feels so much like, it feels so biopic-y in a way that I feel like just a regular fiction movie doesn't
Jam.
to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Space Jam.
It feels like
Space Jam I would never think is a biopic.
it feels like the movie version of those like YouTube videos and TikToks and Instagram reels and stuff where the guy's like creating a fake scenario where somebody's being bullied so that he can teach a lesson about bullying, but like it's such a weird and specific situation where it's like, nobody's been bullied like this before. Like bullying exists, but this is a weird, hyper specific thing you've created. It feels like that where it's like
my reaction when my best friend and I play a lot of tennis and switch super famous tennis girlfriends, and I used to date her and now she dates him, and now we don't know why don't she date me anymore?
Right.
My face when that happens.
and
It's just not-
Again, I've heard
yeah.
it's good. I've heard it's good. So
It's
I'm
not what
willing
you would
to
expect from movies, dramatizing normal everyday things.
Sure,
people know.
that's
Like,
my
just
point.
not
Is like
movie
a
thing.
fake biopic is just a movie. Like that's just a regular movie. I don't understand.
Does Silence of the Lambs feel like it's given the biopic treatment to you?
No.
Okay, this feels different than a regular fiction movie. This feels like a biopic about people who didn't exist.
Sure. I guess I get what
Remember
you're
the
saying.
Titans.
That is that is.
I want to find this somewhere. I want to find one that you like.
It's like
ended up being
Air
what
Bud.
you're describing. Yes, there it is. You found it.
Yeah. Actually, yeah, that's true.
No, I get.
Wait, that's not real?
I do get what you're saying. The trailer left me being like, "How have I not heard this story before?" That's crazy. I get what you're saying. It's definitely presented in the same
Thank you.
style as like,
Maybe it's this. No, I don't know. I was like, maybe it's the sport lens of it all. Like, there's plenty of historical fiction that's like about a war or a time period or something that doesn't. It's taking people that we've like 1917. For all I know, the main guys in 1917 didn't actually exist.
right.
Like their
right.
story didn't exist. Or Dunkirk.
Right.
It's like, I know the whole thing was real. Are we using names of people that actually existed?
Actual
Did we do
real
the
people.
research? So
Right.
I'm ignorant on that, but fine. It's fine. You don't like Zendaya. I think that's what's clear. That's what it is.
I think she peaked at Michi. Everything else has been downhill to me.
I got offended. Like when you said that, my first reaction was like, "I like Zendaya.
I know. That's a point.
I like Zendaya. I think she's good.
No.
I think Zendaya does a good job. I don't think that's
she's
true.
great.
I do like her.
My face when somebody says I don't like Zendaya, but I do think she's good at acting.
Hey, what's the least sexy sport?
The least sexy sport.
Yeah.
That's tricky because I was gonna say bowling, but I think if you're good at bowling, it circles back around. And it's like, look at them. They have their name embroidered on the back of their shirt, and they're rolling this heavy ball. They're knocking everything over.
I think you have to think about it like that. Like if somebody was
Shot
amazing
put.
at it and still not sexy because of it, that's how you have to think about it.
Shot put,
put.
you think? No.
No, I'm hearing them out.
I just think there's what do you do to make it sexy? It's the same thing over and over again. I'm gonna spin, I'm gonna throw. Yes,
I feel like
ball
maybe-
sexy.
Maybe
but-
most track and field stuff is like that though, because like probably long jump.
Long jump is
It's like-
sexy.
That's pretty sexy.
How is that sexier than shot put?
If you have to ask, then you're not thinking about it.
Yeah, probably. It's like, dude, long jump too. It's like we're jumping and then just rolling in sand at the end, right? Trying to maneuver to make sure that like I'm not putting my hand back here, so I'm gonna roll a little bit over. I'm just on the beach. I'm Michael Bolton music video right now.
I got it. I know the
What is
answer. It's polo.
No, polo's so
No.
sexy.
No, the horses do all the work. You're just sitting up there swinging a mallet.
But
If
when
you
you
think that-
when you
if you
add
think that
horse, now
adding
the
a
horse
horse-
gets to be sexy.
Exactly. 100%.
But that's accoutrement that is sexy. That is not the athlete.
It's still sexy.
it still counts. Adding a horse to something doesn't ever make it less sexy.
No,
Like imagine a music video. Now open your eyes. They've been riding a horse. It's way sexier.
It is.
you're not listening to me. The fact that the athlete just sits on top of the horse and is like, you do it and I'll play fast golf while you run around and do all the hard work. That's not sexy.
That is the wrong take.
That's relying on a more powerful. No.
They are driving the horse.
No.
They're demonstrating both mastery over and compassion for an animal.
No, the horse is the athlete and the human is taking the credit. That is not sexy. It is not sexy to take the credit away from the powerful beast.
That's sexy.
No. I think the best polo player would probably share. Like share the
Football's not that
accolades.
sexy.
I thought you said the best polo player was probably Cher.
It probably was Cher. I bet Cher was incredible at polo.
I think Travis Kelce is making football sexy.
That's true.
Nah.
Travis and Jason, they're making the persons who play it like outside of pads sexy. I'm saying like in the game itself. I don't know how sexy football is. The more we're covering up bodies, like maybe hockey, but hockey's pretty sexy.
So is it bobsledding then?
Maybe so.
Bobsledding,
right? where you just go hide.
Yeah.
Bobsledding could be a contender for like, I don't want to say least sexy because that makes it sound like I'm criticizing bobsledders.
Why do you not want to? What are you afraid of?
Yeah,
because I know they listen. I know
what are you
the guys
afraid
from
of here?
The guys from Cool Runnings are big fans of our show. They're definitely listening. But I think that it's probably not it's not correct to say bobsledding is unsexy so much as unsexual in a way that is just like there is
none of these things we've mentioned are sexual.
There is no part of bobsledding that's cool and attractive. It's just like you're sliding. And that's really impressive. But like I don't know, maybe I'm just describing unsexy, but it just feels very mean to say it about bobsledders for some reason.
Nick Lyric would say
why bobsledders specifically? You didn't seem to have a problem frowning and scoffing when I mentioned that Travis Kelce is making football sexy. Why are you okay with being mean to footballers but not to bobsledders?
Because I think that frown was more of a I don't think one person, no matter how powerful their aura, has the ability to change the sexiness rating of an entire sport.
Well, go see Challengers. Maybe your mind will be changed. I don't know. What's the most sexy?
Bobsledding.
Yeah.
Circles all the way back around.
It does circle
the
all the way back.
most sexy sport? Probably Formula One. The vibrations,
Yeah. Tennis is sexier than y'all think.
I didn't say tennis wasn't sexy.
Oh. Okay. Oh. Pickleball. That's what it is.
Yeah,
Sexiest
which one am I best at? Because that's probably it.
By the way, I want to be very clear. We're discussing the sexiness of the sport itself.
Yeah, we're not trying to say the personas that play the sport. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. I realized
why I
tennis
scoffed at
is
the Travis
full of
Kelce
tennis
thing.
is full of pretty people.
Yeah. I as we were starting to talk more about it, I was like, if you come in and if you jump into this and don't know what the discussion is, it sounds like we're ranking the hotness of people.
I know what the sexiest sport is. I
Okay.
think it's soccer. I think football, like football.
Sure.
Football is life.
For sure. Everybody, like on the pitch, everybody's hair is amazing.
That's true. It's kind of like sports and a fashion show at the same time.
They've got the lean muscle,
Always running.
They've got the lean muscle to where when we've got the super slow-mo, it's like, so they must have added these leg muscles. Because I'm like flexing at home and I'm like,
I don't have those.
where did those come from? How are those? And the celebrations, just running, like the slide.
That's a great point.
it's Soccer, football, probably sexiest sport. IMO.
This
This is great though, because I know the Discord's going to blow up and someone's going to be like, dude, pole vaulting.
Nah. I would hear an argument for beach volleyball specifically on the strength of the two scenes in Top Gun.
Oh, yeah.
in each of the top
mustache
10.
carries.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the
Twice.
second one wasn't even volleyball, but
Oh,
Yes.
it was sand football, right?
just classic sand football. To be
Classic
honest.
sand
I think
football.
sand in general. This is why long jump was sexier. Anyways, we got that done. We finished.
What about
it.
shuffleboard then? If sand does it, what about shuffleboard?
Super sexy? You kidding?
No, that's not. What's the
Super
one with
sexy.
sand? That's not. Does shuffleboard have sand? No.
Yeah,
It does?
I think so.
There's something that
You're talking
causes
about.
the
You're thinking
disc
of like
to
a
slide.
table. The table.
Yeah, what's the
shuffleboard?
table? The table shuffleboard.
I think it's still just called
Shuffleboard.
table shuffleboard. Yeah,
It's called shuffle 'em
that's how
up.
you sport. That's how you sport.
One word.
Shuffle them up.
Let's go to shout announcements. Welcome to Shout Announcements. It's the part of the show.
One of my favorite parts of the show.
It's never not funny.
I typically go until I see a facial reaction from both of you, and then that's when I
Oh, that's
actually
good
say
to
the
know.
word
Oh,
welcome.
yeah. No, you're gonna
That's good
regret
to
telling me that, I think.
Yeah, for sure.
I have insane lung capacity. I can make that noise until
Wow.
you, against your own will, make faces.
Interesting.
This is the part where we give shout outs and make announcements. Doge, you have an announcement.
I do, but first, who gets the shout out this week? Carter, take a shout. Give a shout out across the bow.
Yo, shout out Dr. Sue Cavley running that methodology review. Really appreciate you working hard, like still doing it. Unreal. Way to go, Dr. Cavley.
Dr.
Shout out.
Sue. Dr. Sue.
I know who that is.
Official hero of Two Chunks and a Hunk.
Mm-hmm.
Now for the announcement part. In May, we will be going to see a movie. A movie that you, our dear listeners, chose for us. And that movie is Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes.
That's right.
Sounds
The
right.
movie of the Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. And we'll be doing an episode of the movie of the Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. And we'll also be doing an event of the movie of the Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. And if you're a supporter of our podcast at the $5 level on Discord, we're going to be posting in there pretty soon the location and the showtime that we're going to see this movie. And we would love you to come with us. If you're listening to this and you're like, man, I would love to be able to go to a big group movie, it is not too late. You could still join our Discord, support us at the $5 level on Patreon. You get, of course, access to the Two Chunks Movie Club screenings, but you also get to hang out with us. And we message a lot about, currently, a lot about Brandon Sanderson books, but also, I'm trying to think what else we talk about. We talk about Spring Delirium. We talk about all kinds
Sometimes
of stuff.
it's
Talk about
video
Survivor.
games.
Sometimes it's
Sometimes
video
video games.
games. It's a good time.
Other various TV shows. Sometimes there's random discussion or plugs for local events.
Yep.
It's a good time.
Yep. Also, dude, shout out Claude. Claudia is running CC Nash on Discord, in our Discord. She's been running our Instagram account. And so one of the best things about that is sometimes the Two Chunks account is giving me the update before I get it somewhere else about new things
Yeah,
dropping.
totally.
And that's special. So shout out Claude. Thank you for doing all that.
Yeah, she's the backbone, certainly. The
Truly.
unsung hero who's about to get sung.
She's about to get
The
sung.
sung.
About to get sung.
Claude's the sung hero.
The sung hero. Hey,
Get sang.
listen to me. Something's coming. We have a secret.
Drums in the deep.
We have a secret, and we can reveal it. We choose,
But
not
we won't.
to.
Choose not to.
We're playing this one kind of close to the vest a little bit for now, but soon, something pretty awesome is coming. Something really fun that we're excited to share with you. And this is a surprise announcement for Discord and regular listeners as well. So nobody knows about this except the people that do, and that's how secrets work. But
That's how it is.
just get prepared. Get prepared for something fun and exciting coming to you soon. Soon is subjective, but it's soon.
Soonish.
It's soon. So get ready and buckle up. Keep your peepers peeled for an early announcement
Peel
in
'em.
Discord, and then for all you normies, You'll find out. You'll find out when the news drops regular style.
All the mudbloods.
So get ready. Get ready. And get ready for more show. We're back.
We're back. Let's start with something that our podcast and our community has been working on for, feels like a couple months now. But Spring Delirium has wrapped. And no, wraps didn't really make it very far in the bracket.
In a form.
Themselves.
In a form.
Not
a north of the border wrap, but a south of the border wrap made it
Sure.
As far as a food can make it.
I guess that depends on where you live.
Yeah, it depends on where you are, where you've been. Our champion, we had a matchup of tacos against mix here. Mix showing up from the snack bracket, tacos from the entree, and the unanimous winner for Spring Delirium was tacos.
As it should be.
It is a champion. It is a champion that I am proud of for our community. I love to say, like, hey, you know, we put 64 contestants into the ring to find out the best food item. I bet if people are giving 3 random shots that don't know anything about Spring Delirium, I wonder if tacos is in there. I bet it is.
It would be.
For a lot of these people. But tacos, man, it's just hard to go a week in my life without some kind of taco.
Rarely.
2 to
And
3 times a week for me. Yep.
It can change its face so well that it doesn't ever. I could tell you right now, never get tired of tacos, right?
Yeah,
I don't even have to say
feel
that
the
with a
same way.
question.
Yeah.
Never will get tired of tacos.
I feel the same way.
Tacos yesterday
Give it to
for
me.
lunch.
Amazing.
We should do a taco crawl. The 3 of us boys.
Easily. We each
pick
have a
taco
contributor.
spot. Yeah.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah, I mean,
Love that.
Sounds great. I'm down.
Love that.
We had tacos for dinner last night.
So good. With some of that pulled some of that rotisserie chip.
Made some pulled chicken tacos, grilled up some fajita veggies, made some pineapple pico de gallo. It was delicious.
See, that's beautiful because I had ground turkey tacos yesterday.
Amazing.
And tacos can be anything.
I love
That's
a
why
ground
you don't
turkey
get tired of
taco.
them. Like I could
love
have
it.
eaten, you could have had my taco for lunch and your taco for dinner. And I could have had my taco for lunch and my taco for dinner and been like, this is 2 different foods. This is not the same meal twice in a row.
That's true.
Monday night, Chelsea and I were just kind of like, man, not in the mood to cook. The groceries had reached the end about a couple of days ago, so you're getting creative without trying to break the bank.
Yep.
And then we just kind of look at each other and we're like, Taco Casa?
Sure.
Yes.
Yeah,
We're
why
like,
not?
Yeah,
Yes, of
Taco
course.
Casa. Get you some like super light. Get you some good quality tacos.
That sauce at Taco Casa is,
Guys, what's
Every
it,
bit- dude,
what's it
every
like
bit of
living in a house where everybody likes Taco Casa?
I wouldn't know.
Because my wife does not like Taco
Yeah, Callie
Casa.
doesn't,
Have you
Callie
told us
doesn't really
this
like it
before?
either.
Really?
What's going on? They every time the portion's perfect in that taco.
Yes.
And the order in which they choose to put the toppings is brilliant.
Yes.
Because they do sour cream first.
Mm-hmm.
And it's in the pocket, dude. It's just right there.
That's how I do it if I'm
And
making
everything
tacos
is
at
so
home.
fresh.
Yeah.
Smear that sour cream straight on the torte before anything else.
And they're putting
As a base,
so
it
much
makes it
of
sticky.
that finely shredded cheese in there.
I do love that
They
cheese.
put so much of it.
Taco Casa probably has the highest portion size of meat in their tacos of any like
Yeah.
fast food taco place.
Incredibly consistent, incredibly quick. And it's not as heavy. I mean, you can make it as heavy.
Yeah, you can get a little
Sure.
wild with it if you want.
But of course, it's just on such a different tier from other fast food Mexican food places. Well, anyways,
I do.
that's the number
I
one
do
way for us to
appreciate-
burn 20 minutes on this
Just
podcast.
talk about tacos.
Talk about
Just-
food.
yeah, food.
Talk about tacos.
I do love that Taco Bell gets a little experimental with stuff in a way that other places don't, and I really appreciate that. I like that they're just getting weird.
I wish
with it.
they'd get wilder. I feel like Taco
They
Bell has
used to,
gotten
I
a
feel
little
like.
tame. They've kind of calmed down a little bit, and I think for me the death bell of Taco Bell as an innovator on the front lines
Cantina
of
menu.
taco ideation was when they discontinued the Cool Ranch Dorito taco.
Yeah, man, what's that
when
about?
they took that taco and said, "This is too much." That's crazy. That's an insane thing to do, Taco Bell, to say this that we've made that everybody loves is too much for us. We can't be that anymore.
I'm sure they did the market research, but I have yet to meet anybody who's a Taco Bell fan who isn't mad that the Cool Ranch one went away.
Is there anybody who's like, thank God that's off the menu?
Right.
It was taking up space.
I don't like Cool Ranch.
Really?
So, but I'm also not that person.
You don't
care. I
like
didn't
Cool
try it.
Ranch? You love ranch,
But
though.
you threw such a hissy fit about chips getting eliminated from Spring Delirium?
That's not the route I was going
I
with.
don't like Cool Ranch. Here's the thing. Maybe that's not what I should say. When I say I don't like, it means it doesn't make it into the top. It doesn't make it into the top 40 chip for me. Okay. There's a lot of chips
40?
that I like the flavor, but Cool Ranch is just, I'm not seeking it out, man.
I don't think I could name 40 chip flavors.
That's the joke. Maybe my
so
number
many
was
chips.
close enough that it was believable, but
I
Cool
thought for a
Ranch is
minute you
just
could
not,
name
I'm not
40.
choosing it. I'm not choosing it. If it's all I've got and I need some crunch to pair with something else that I'm having, sure, but it's not in my house. I've never bought Cool Ranch chips.
That's crazy.
I don't like them.
That's wild.
I love Cool
I
Ranch.
don't like them enough.
Top 3 Doritos for me.
What's your top Doritos?
I like the spicy sweet chili.
The purple ones?
Yeah, I love those.
Yep.
Purple's great.
I really like just the spicy nacho Doritos.
Yep.
I like Cool Ranch. Although they used to have one, it was called like Tacos at Midnight or something.
Yes.
And you could like taste lettuce on the Dorito. And it was so good.
Those were so good.
Oh no.
No, it was delicious.
Has Taco Bell ever done a shell out of the spicy ones? The spicy
I feel like they
nacho?
did.
I think they
All
have.
they do now is the regular cheese
classic
Dorito.
Dorito. I'm a classic Dorito.
Last
guy.
place Dorito for me.
Love
Really?
a classic.
Yeah,
Dorito.
last place Dorito for me.
So much.
Maybe first place chip for me. Maybe second place chip.
Nacho cheese Dorito.
Love that.
Yeah. I'm a Dorito boy.
Love them.
I'm gonna buy some Doritos today.
I haven't had Doritos in so
It's
long.
been a
It
minute.
sounds so
When you
good.
get one of those, like it's usually a smaller, like it's been broken off, but it's like caked
Yeah.
Yeah.
in that powder. Oof.
That's how I feel when you pull out the wheat checks that's like brown. Just from all the, it's just like filled, all the crevices are filled with that Chex Mix seasoning. You got to grab your
It's like
water just to,
Like a dry hot pocket.
Yeah.
It's all inside.
you got to be
Yeah.
ready with your water to wash it down because it's just going to, it's like the cinnamon challenge, but with Chex Mix seasoning. And I love it.
Boys, I'm going to resurrect something from deep within the shadows.
Gandalf?
Back when everybody was on strike last year,
That was my name.
we played a game called the Wheel of Cinemotion, but we're expanding it to all art. And basically, what it is we've got a picker wheel online where we are spinning, and it's going to land on maybe an emotion or a feeling that you are less familiar with. And then I need you to tell me the last time
Happiness.
a piece of joy, fulfillment, the last time the piece of art made you feel that way. The 4 emotions to choose from today are ones that I'm willing to bet you guys haven't heard from. That is opia, ellipsism, chrysalism, and liberosis. And we will define, of course, whichever emotion the wheel lands on.
You sound like Pokemon.
They do.
Spinning. No whammies, first of all.
No whammies. Stop. No whammies.
I really wish you guys could hear that little song it plays. I'll put it in the
Aw.
episode. The emotion that we've landed on today is opia. Let's see what that means.
You don't even know what it means.
Right. Yeah, of course not. The ambiguous intensity of looking someone in the eye, which can feel simultaneously invasive and vulnerable. Piercing. We'll go with piercing. What's the last time a piece of media was like felt as though it was looking you in the eye and knowing
Give me the
everything about you? Piercing.
Give it to me again. The full definition, because I want to try and touch on some of these things.
The ambiguous intensity of looking someone in the eye, which can feel simultaneously invasive and vulnerable. For me, I'm interpreting that as like, what's the last piece of media that I consumed where it was like, dang, they really got my number on this one. This was specifically targeted in a way to make me think about and feel things.
Man, this is good. Okay.
Is this an emotion?
It's from the Dictionary of Obscure Sorrows. The Dictionary of the Dictionary of Obscure Sorrows. The guy who did that, I think he gave a TED talk. Let's see. Yeah, it's where it's a dictionary of made up words for emotions that we all feel but don't have the words to express. So it's like it's a new emotion. It's one a new emotion just dropped, and people feel this, but we didn't have a name for it. So like the word sonder, the noun sonder, is like the most famous thing from the Dictionary of Obscure Sorrows. The realization that each random passerby is living a life as vivid and complex as your own, populated with their own ambitions, friends, routines, worries, and inherited craziness. And so the TED Talk was about that guy like talking about that feeling, being like, we all feel this. It's crazy that English doesn't have a word for this because other languages do. And so the Dictionary of Obscure Sorrows was like a project to be like, other languages have words for things that we all feel, and English is like kind of emotionally stunted as a language and doesn't have these words. So let's make some words for them.
I can go first.
All right.
Sorry, dude. Deal with it.
Dealt.
I was watching, Chelsea and I have been more interested in SNL than we have been in a long time. I just think the writing is really good right now.
Did you watch the Gosling episode?
Yes. I feel like when I was watching the Beavis and Butthead skit, I was watching something that was going to be an all-timer.
Yeah, for sure.
Like it just was phenomenal. Watched Kristen Wiig too because I love her. There's things about my wife that like sometimes Chelsea will feel a certain way or try and remember something, and she does like that characterization of like her neck just contorts in a way and a hand goes up that looks like there's like a Crucius curse against her. And she's just kind of like thinking about something that's just such a funny quirk.
It's just all tendons.
That reminds me of her. But there was an artist on named Ray, Raye, that performed a song called Escapism. And it was equal parts just kind of, it was jazz, it was R&B, there was a small orchestra behind her, and it was just so creative and new, but also had nostalgia. It was doing a little bit of everything. And I'm just recently, over the last few years, beginning to have a finger on like how I feel about things and expressing that in shorter succession, like rather than being like 3 years after the fact and be like, oh, that made me sad.
Right.
But like knowing something in the midst of something. And that performance, and it's live, you can find it on YouTube, but it's called Escapism, and it's Ray, Raye, all caps. It won't matter whether you do caps or not. But it was phenomenal, and it was just so interesting. And Chelsea kept looking over at me. And so that's how I know it was like for me, that she was like, this is going to affect him. Something's happening. And it was like, it felt extended. It felt like over 5 minutes long. And I had tears, but it was just like tears of being so impressed and then also just so blown away. But she's pretty phenomenal. I don't know if y'all saw that performance or if you've heard her before, but I would say that was it. That was piercing. I was just like, oh, okay. Because she's also got kind of like a diamonds are a girl's best friend look about her, but that's the point.
Cool.
Is to just kind of be like, I don't know. It was saying a lot. It had a lot of depth to it. I loved it.
Yeah.
Loved it.
Yeah, no, that's good. I remember that performance. It was great. I'll go fast through mine because I could go very long. So I've been reading with minimal breaks, basically exclusively Brandon Sanderson for the past 6 months. I took a long break from reading for Baldur's Gate, but I only read one non-Sanderson book in the time that I have read. And Sanderson in general just seems like a guy that I would love to like sit down with for a while and just talk, because I think he and I, based on his understanding of a lot of like struggles, it seems like he and I probably go through a lot of similar cathartic emotions and feelings. But I'm just learning about myself over the last 6 months or so that I've had anxiety my whole life since I was a kid. I was on anxiety medicine in the 2nd grade, which I found out later is pretty early. I've had anxiety my whole life, and I'm learning over the last 6 months or so that actually it's kind of the 1-2 combo punch of depression and anxiety. And I just never realized that I was depressed because I didn't know what it was I was feeling. I just always attributed everything to anxiety. And I've been pretty depressed over the last, year. And when I was reading the Stormlight Archives, and I know a lot of people are reading it right now, my wife included. Carter, I know you're still working your way through, so I won't spoil anything. But there is a lot of mental health struggle in Stormlight that is written. I don't know how well, or I don't know how broad the connection is. Like, I don't know if everybody who's depressed would identify with the brand of depression in Stormlight or whatever. But for me, it just absolutely hit the nail on the head. And one of the main characters is pretty depressed, and I think intentionally a source of frustration to the reader with the number of times that you think to yourself, just do it. Come on, just do it. Get up. Fight, believe in yourself, whatever. And reading through that struggle was something I really identified with. But there's this chapter in one of the books, I won't say which, the chapter's called The Dragon and the Dog. And this chapter is a story, an allegory that is being told to this character in order to kind of help snap him out of a pretty serious bout of depression. And the chapter is amazing. I think even if you never are planning on reading Stormlight, even if you just read this chapter, it will absolutely grab you. I read it out loud after I finished it to Callie with no context. And she was like, wow, that was amazing. But
that's awesome.
It ends with the phrase, "You will be warm again." And there have been several times over the last 6 months that I have just had to intentionally think to myself, you will be warm again.
Wow.
And that I've never read anything that quite like drilled all the way down to my core.
Wow.
Quite like that.
What's the word again, Doge?
Opia.
Opia. Can I change my opia to what Jordan just talked about?
Sure.
My experience of Jordan sharing that is my opia.
Also, I just realized
it's just the experience.
that I have read 5 non Sanderson books in the last 6 months. My fault, pimps.
Dude, NBD. I do think, I know you're talking about Kaladin.
I am.
Yeah, I think of you with Kaladin. I think of Doge with Dalinar. Which there you go. Walk with your head held high for the next 10 years because your good friend said that about you because I know y'all both love them.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's great.
And I do lose my mind whenever it's raining outside and have crazy visions. So that tracks too.
That tracks.
Mine is horribly embarrassing. The 1980 animated version of The Return of the King ends with a song that's an adaptation of the walking song "The Road Goes Ever On and On" from The Lord of the Rings, like from the books. It ends with an adaptation of that song. There was a guy on TikTok a few months ago who was like, "This is my favorite song ever written. Nobody's ever heard it." So he did a cover of it. And then about a month after that, there was a girl who's like, "Hey, this is a fantastic song. I'm gonna stitch the video and sing a harmony on it." And then like last week, there was a guy who was like, "Hey, this is great. Nobody knows about this. I'm going to stitch this video and write all these string parts for this with like sample libraries on my computer."
I love
and
when
stuff.
that kind of stuff happens.
And it was just this like cool like community kind of crowdsourced thing. And I like was watching Jess like had to step out to take a phone call or something while we were eating lunch. And so I would just like open my phone and mindlessly scrolling TikTok, and that came across my feed, and I just like fell apart crying at this song. Like that never ever happens to me. But it's the like the sentiment of the song. It comes at the very end of The Return of the King. And it's about Frodo and everyone else on the ship like deciding to leave Middle Earth and to sail into the West. And just something about the feeling of like this place that used to be home and safe for me can't hold me anymore. Like I do not and cannot fit here anymore because of the things I've experienced and how I've changed as a person. Like just, I don't know, just got me in a way that like very few things do. Lord of the Rings is already kind of my cry button. Like anytime I see anything from Lord of the Rings, I'm like already about to cry. Like the whole like there's good in the world, Mr. Frodo, it's worth fighting for. That gets me every single time. No matter like if I think about it, if I read it, if I watch the clip, like every time. But this one in particular was just like had to put my phone down and just like walk around my house wiping my eyes for like 15 minutes in a way that never ever happens to me.
That's great.
Dude, we could just do a whole podcast of just that wheel and just talk forever about all the different things we feel.
Well, let's keep bringing it back. That's great stuff, dude. It always, when we get to the end of an episode, that we usually synonymously are like, burp, that sucked. And it doesn't really matter what we think, because we could get someone in Discord being like, absolutely love the energy of today's episode. We're like, okay, cool. Well, that's because I guess we're numb because we've done 550 of them. But it does always feel like we always feel the same when it's good. It's like the weird phenomenon where everybody's like, man, today flew by. It's like, yeah, dude, same. You know, like the whole world agrees. But yeah, I feel like this is one of those because there's a certain energy, especially the depth of that. I'm glad that we played that today. But
it's a fun, lighthearted game. Bring it, whip it out at your next party. Like with people you don't know very well, definitely play this game.
When's the last time you felt so pierced by a piece of media that it absolutely embedded itself in your soul? Very good. Very good. Make sure you get on that Discord so that you can join us to see Kingdom of, the World of, the War for, the Planet of the Apes.
Planet of the
next
Apes.
month.
And Godzilla.
Join us on the Discord of the podcast of the Two Chunks of the Hunt.
Yes, please do that. If you didn't listen to Shout Announcements, shame on you. But we got something on the cooker. We got something on the cooker.
We're cooking.
So
it's cooking up, dude.
If you close your eyes, you can kind of smell something coming from the kitchen.
Yeah. 2026 release. I feel like it's like when the MCU would be like, and here's coming in 2029.
Like 5 years ago, and they're like, guess what? We're gonna maybe do Blade one day.
Yeah.
And like nothing's happened since then.
Yeah.
No. At this point, I'm fine with just a standalone. We do need to have a conversation, maybe on the next podcast, about how Deadpool might actually bring Marvel back into being interesting again. But anyway.
I think one movie and a whole franchise are two different things, you know?
I think people are setting themselves up to be disappointed with Deadpool.
Well, you think that about everything.
This is based on historical facts, not just my own kind of sour vibe.
Oh, anyway, to end today's episode, I'd like for each of us to say our name and our favorite non-Dorito chip. For Two Chunks of the Hunk, I'm Jordan. Wonders, that is. Right now, it's just Lay's dill pickles. Dude, the dill pickle chips from Lay's, they're like if salt and vinegar and dill pickle had a baby. They're so tangy and like,
love that.
Ooh, I love
aggressive. An aggressive chip.
So good they are.
I'm Doge. I feel like I've talked about this recently. All Dressed. All Dressed is fantastic.
That's been your favorite chip for a long time, so it could be anytime.
Yeah.
I'm Carter, going to give two answers. That's my middle name. First time I've ever revealed that. Carter, going to give two answers, Willis.
John Carter, going to give two answers, Willis.
John Carter, going to give two answers, Willis.
It's all hyphenated except for the last name.
One doesn't exist anymore, and it hasn't for a long time. But Ruffles used to have the Masterpiece Barbecue. It used to be barbecue Ruffles. And those were phenomenal, and they were consistent. If it wasn't super barbecue, it was still super salty. Love, love, love. Don't have that anymore. I have decided, if I was to have only one chip for the rest of my life, it's very interesting because it's kind of boring. Something's happened to where I started having just Fritos without accoutrement. Just a Frito. And it never misses. A Frito, I think Fritos are the most consistent chip from chip to chip, maybe ever.
Yeah.
And just salty corn chip is so good to me. And I think I could just do that forever. Dip a Frito in hummus. Dip a Frito in ranch. Still good. Frito's good for dipping too. Scoops, any kind of vibe, but I would just go classic. Just the red and gold bag Fritos.
I happened upon my affinity for Fritos by accident because I would usually
Smelled a dog's foot.
I smelled a dog's foot and I was like, I wish that was a chip I could have. I would usually eat Fritos because they were nobody else's favorite. And I was like, well, if I eat this and people can have the chip they want. And so I would eat Fritos.
Gosh, Josh.
And they're so good. I like them a lot.
Yeah. I love that.
Next time the wheel of Cinemotion lands on Stockholm Syndrome, that's my answer. That time that Doge chained himself to a chip he defaulted to so as not to be a burden. Well, clicks.
In the end.
Clicks.